Let's do this. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us once again for another episode of Ysterra, the Far Horizon. Our intrepid heroes from the lovely city of Orlustran have had to deal with quite a number of difficulties in recent weeks. Their efforts to rescue, to rebuild, to recuperate a airship that had crashed in the mountains north of the city some time ago have been stymied somewhat by a series of events that have gone on in the weeks intervening since that discovery. They made new friends. They lost someone too. And during all of this, they have done their best to try to continue moving forward despite all of the impediments that have been put in their way. The most recent impediments having to deal with the Nostromo, a group of clerical inquisitors within the Imperium that are on a mission, a holy mission, to uncover, root out, and reveal any and all people that they deem to be cursed beings, those with arcane abilities that go against the norms of civilized society as they like to think. Unfortunately, for many of our companions, they fall into that category, and the Nostromo have caught wind of their movements through the city. Thankfully, though, they have resources at their disposal and have managed to get away from the Nostromo once already, although it seems like they are destined for a collision with them once again in the future. At this point, they find themselves aboard Violet's father's barge, a somewhat derelict vessel resting in the river on the far western side of the city. And they have a loose plan to salvage this barge and use the more of the functioning elements of it, primarily the hardy wood that makes up the hull, to help repair the airship in the mountains. Getting it uprooted, sending it upriver, and pulling it apart so that it can be brought all the way up the mountainside, though that's an entirely other matter, one that they desperately hope that one of their companions can assist with. We shall see where that goes. In the meantime, however, the twins, Deb and Beth's characters of Adie and Mira, have been told by their parents that they should probably get out of the city for at least a while they try to deal or uncover or somehow stop whatever this Nostromo Inquisition against them is. Of course, everyone else in the party has their own reasons for getting out of the city, thankfully, along with the few companions that they have with. It seems like a very good time. So, let us return then to Violet's father's barge. Having rested that evening, the evening of the 18th, we find ourselves waking up in the morning. Early light starts coming in through the windows. The twin suns at Ysterra orbits, casting their amber and yellow glows through. It rests upon Violet's face first. Violet awakens, groaning, complaining, of course, about the early hour, but she is unable to just turn and toss herself to the side and stay asleep as her aunt is standing over her. Violet looks up, seeing Ren just staring down at her. Good morning. You should probably wake up. I'd like to talk for a minute if that's all right.
Yeah, just give me a minute.
Yeah. I'll be above deck. And
Maybe I will stretch a bit.
you stretch and look around. You see your companions there. You see Oriana not too far off to the side as well. You don't see Phelan, though.
I like give Oriana a wave, and then I'll make.
Oriana's way asleep.
Oh.
Everyone else is asleep.
Okay.
It's the crack of dawn. The light just happened to hit your face.
I'll go up.
As you head up above deck, you look out. You can see that it is a bit of a misty morning. There's a nice damp dew across the ship. Of course, the ship being moored where it is, it's pretty much always wet. Barl and gifted subs, thank you so much, man.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. That's amazing. I hope all of you people, I see a couple familiar names in there. Hey, our newest person, Tabletop Mike, you now have a sub. Welcome. Enjoy. Thank you so much, Far. But as you look out towards the city, the sun's light behind the city almost casts it in a shadow. You see the silhouette more than you see the actual city itself, as the sun's crest just above the dip of the horizon. And just looking out at it, shiver runs up your spine. You're not sure why, but it just feels ominous. You see Ren at the front of the ship, standing there. You see Lyra on a perch just next to her. Ren just casually leaning down and feeding something in her hand to Lyra. And you can tell pretty clearly that there's something bothering Ren.
I walk up to Ren. It's weird seeing so many people.
Kay, who are you cheering for?
I was just doing it to try and get the hype train going, but if I can give it to Violet, give it to Violet.
Thanks, Kay. So yes, Violet walks up to Ren.
It's weird seeing so many people here. On the boat, it really reminds me of when I was a kid, when you used to come visit and people would sit and eat and drink, and I'd run around and, pick up plates and stuff. And
yeah,
I don't think there's been this many people here in a long time.
Yeah, I remember. The barge was a little bit more functional then.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question before we talk about anything else. I kind of need to know, the whole Phelan and Mira thing, is that going to be weird? Is that going to be a problem?
Probably. Maybe. I don't know. Honestly, it's great for Mira. It might make 80 feel a little weird and make me feel a little weird, but it'll be fine.
Why would it make you feel weird?
I don't know. I guess I'm just... I don't know.
Thought you had feelings for 80, not Mira.
What are you talking about? Finally gets red.
Okay. We don't have to talk about it now.
Are you okay? What did you want to talk about?
Yeah, so Balin left pretty early, like well before the sun's rise. Said that they were going to collect the people that they need. They'd be back sometime in the morning. They don't know how long it'll take. We're supposed to just kind of wait. It took care of that person, when Mira was taken by the Nostromo and all that. It took care of them. Their body shouldn't be found anytime soon. I don't have a problem doing that sort of thing, generally. I don't want to make it a thing, okay?
Yeah. No, that's fair. I don't think we don't normally go around killing people.
I mean, sometimes you have to do what you have to do, especially when you're defending yourself or your loved ones. I absolutely firmly believe in that. But I don't like doing it ever, except when I have to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I don't want to put you in any kind of situation you don't want to be in. And I do appreciate you being around, but is there anything that you want? Like, not why are you hanging out with us, but like, do you have things that you need to do?
I'm here because you very obviously need me. And family comes first. Your mother. Your mother once did something like this for me. She went with me to take care of some things that were difficult. Least I can do is return the favor to her daughter.
What did she do?
Well, before she met your father, let's just say she and I did not always see eye to eye with the clergy. Not that we do, not that I do now. Yeah, there was some people that they took. And we went and got them back. Seems like it's too common a practice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all I really wanted to say. I just wanted you to know I will do whatever you need me to do. But even I get strained by things. And you see her hand go down to Lyra and just start stroking the feathers from the front of Lyra's head to the back of it.
And my dad, you heard of?
I don't know what that situation is. All I know is he's doing the good fight. Yeah. Gonna be okay if we if we don't find him before we leave.
Yeah, I think so.
Do you have any idea where Reed is? Because, I mean, honestly, if Reed doesn't want to be found, he's not going to be found. So,
No, I have no idea. All I got was a letter 2 weeks ago, or I guess a month ago now.
Yeah, the warning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Do you know if Mira might be able to find him? She's got some pretty weird magic stuff going on.
Maybe, but I feel like we have other things to do, and I don't know. Like you said, if he wanted to be found, he would probably.
You do know that he is staying away because of a good reason, right?
I don't know that. Honestly, he just left. I don't know.
He's not exactly the best when it comes to talking to people about real things. He's really good at bullshit. Not so much good about the real shit. You remember the Hollow?
Mm-hmm.
Reed helped set that up. He helped set up several places like the Hollow that are basically havens for people that need a safe place. When the clergy started getting a little too close, particularly with everything having to deal with your mother, that's when he got motivated. Tore him up to leave you behind.
Why didn't he take me with him?
It was easier for him to hide that you ever existed. What would happen if somebody like him, somebody that has the amount of knowledge in his head that he does about people that the clergy want, what would happen if he had to choose between your safety and them?
You want to know what happened?
He would choose you.
They came around looking for him anyways, and they found me instead.
That's right. They let you go.
Without clipping my ears first.
They don't exactly leave people unmarked, now do they? I'm not saying that what you suffered through wasn't horrible. But if he had been here with you, or if you had been with him when they found you together, you may have not gotten out of that alive. He had to make an impossible choice. And in the limited amount of contact that I've had with him, I know very well that it ate him up to do that. You don't have to forgive him or anything. I just wanted you to know the circumstances. Everything I know about him says that he does love you. You just might be really shit at showing it. Hey, that's why you've got friends and other family. And she just kind of holds her arms open towards you.
We'll go in for a hug.
She holds you pretty tight. And you can tell just from listening to her very rapid heartbeat that this is pretty emotional for her too.
Sticking around.
Oh yeah, I'm not going anywhere. Told you I'm through this till you don't need me anymore. Wherever it might go. Besides, she reaches down and pets Lyra. I'd like to see things from Lyra's perspective once. At the very least.
Me too.
Do we just let them sleep down there, by the way? I've been kind of taking a relaxed stance with all of that. Because I don't want to, ruffle any feathers.
I think so. It's been a long few days, and it's going to take a while to get to Bren's farm. I think we could let them sleep in a little bit.
All right.
We can make them breakfast.
You got nothing down there for breakfast.
We can go get them breakfast, I guess.
What was the name of that pastry place?
Hearth and Home.
Say that again.
Hearth and Home?
Right. Okay. I'll be back in a bit. They wake, I'm sure, well, I hope that they wake up before I get back. If they do, mention Phelan said that they would be back as soon as they could. With help. Whatever the fuck that meant. Okay?
Yeah.
Gives you a pat on the back and kind of ruffles your hair a little bit. And you see her leap off of the barge and skitter across the shallow water headed towards the city. Lyra bolts up into the sky, circles a few times, swoops back down, flies very close to you, and then heads back out. As you head below deck, anyone else waking up? You're muted, Kay. Nope, still can't hear you. Bren waking up, or is he sleeping in too?
I think he's kind of been up for a little bit. He's just kind of sitting there.
So as Violet comes back downstairs, Bren is awake.
Good morning.
How'd you sleep?
Okay, for the most part. You okay?
No. Not really. It's
You want to talk about it?
Yeah. Just hard being here, you know?
I can imagine. Is it the space, or is it the time spent? What is it that's bothering you the most?
It's the memories. Feels like just all of the good and bad and just it's all mixing in my brain, and it's hard, you know?
Yeah, it is. Would it be harder to not have them at all, or to have them and have something to hold on to?
Well, honestly, right now, I wish I didn't feel this way.
I get it, Vi. It's not easy. It's not, but in some part of it, it's still worth it. Wouldn't be who you are today without those.
I haven't had the chance to ask you guys, but you guys took care of Fig?
Yes, we did. As soon as we got back to the farm, it was the first thing we did.
Okay.
Well, when we get there, we'll let you have your time. I think you'd like it. Or at least you would appreciate it.
I'd like to see it.
Well, I probably should get going, get the day started. If
Phelan
you
left.
need to,
I don't know where he went. He said Phelan said he left and went to get some help or something. So I guess we should just wait for him to get back and then figure out what to do.
Yeah, we'll see. It's probably in reference to all of this, so we'll give them a little time and we'll see what happens. Okay. You probably should wake up the twins. I'm sure they'd want to spend some time with you, especially feeling like this. It may help.
I don't know. I don't want to bother them. You know?
It's not a bother. They're
sleeping.
I'm pretty sure, compared to how they woke up yesterday, I think they would be happy with this one. It's really not a bother. If you don't, I will. And they're not gonna like it if I do.
I think you should.
Okay. Oh, fine. He stands up and he's like, "Are you sure about this?"
Yeah.
Fine. He walks over to Mira. He gets really close. Well, actually, no, he doesn't get really close yet. He walks over to Mira and he druid shapes into the bear. And then he gets real close to Mira's face and just goes, just hovering.
Bear breath.
Yeah. And then if they don't move, he's going to lick it.
I'm 100% certain that would be enough to wake up Mira, especially given recent traumas.
I think with the first one, she would do one of the, rubbing her nose a little bit and then, open her eyes. And I think she would, jerk forward and headbutt the bear accidentally.
Then Bryn riles back. He's like, he changes out of his shape and he's just like, This one wasn't me. It points at Violet.
What do you mean it wasn't you? You were in my face. What?
I told her that she should wake you up. She highly requested this.
Oh, Violet, why?
I didn't want to be the one to wake you up.
I would prefer it if you wake me up next time. I feel like you would be more gentle.
I could. Hey, you're right.
That commotion is certainly enough to wake up the entirety of the barge, which, Sisk, 80, Oriana, all awaken. Yeah. What do you do?
Again, it wasn't me. I'm but a people pleaser.
You and people pleaser are not two words that I would put in the same sentence, but sure.
Okay.
Why do we have to be awake? What is this about?
I think the three of you should maybe walk along the barge for a little bit. Sisk and I will sit here and knit sweaters.
Oriana just says from the corner, I like sweaters.
Boom. I think it would be nice, especially this early in the morning. And he's giving the both of you a look. He's like,
yeah, okay. Jeez Louise. 80 will start walking over to go up and out.
Mira follows, rubbing her forehead.
There's like a smear of bear spittle.
Yeah, it's real wet. Real wet nose. Terrible.
Face.
Britt walks over to Sis and goes, so I've been thinking, and it just starts talking about sweaters, but not really gonna do it.
Sick.
Violet will go up too and shoot Bren a look, and then keep going up.
He didn't have to make this weird.
I feel like that's his MO, so I don't know. 2 for 2 on the Tavish twins with waking up.
He will sleep.
Bye, I'm getting a lot from you right now.
Am I muted? Hello?
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 We can hear you, Andrew.
Oh, okay, great. I thought I was muted for I thought I was muted for a second.
No, we can hear you. Can you not hear Beth?
Fine. No. I thought
Shit, really?
I thought you couldn't I can hear you. I can hear. Okay. We're good. I thought I was muted.
I think what Beth meant when I'm getting a lot from you, Violet, was the emotion stuff.
It's a lot being here, you know? I don't know. Red said that I should talk to you guys, and I don't know where to start. I don't know. I just feel weird. I feel sad. I feel, I don't know.
It's a lot.
It's a lot, you know? Being here, what happened here last time. I don't know.
I'm really sorry that we couldn't be there with you afterwards. I know you had to go, but I just wish you didn't have to go through it alone.
And it's weird. It's like I had already mourned, I think, and now I'll have to do it again, and it's just really confusing. Like, she left. I thought she left, you know? I thought we went on a job, it went bad, and then I never heard from her again. And it made me feel like I was nothing, you know? It made me feel like worthless. And with my dad leaving and my mom gone, it was really hard, you know? And I was so angry. And angry not with Fake, but with me. Like, I don't know why people just kept leaving me.
80 gives her a hug and holds on tight.
You know we're not gonna leave you, right?
This is why it's so confusing, because I find out that she didn't, that she was taken, and I stopped looking for her. And I thought my dad left me, but he went out and started this whole movement, and it's I found out that people left for good reasons. It's just even more confusing.
I mean, even if it's a good reason, it doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
It really hurts. And I felt so lost for so long. It was just me and Bandit for a bit. And then just me and Bren. I'd visit him still. I met this girl that was in over her head at a gambling den. And then her amazing twin sister. It's all really great things, but I'm scared. No?
I mean, it's okay to be scared. Just, you don't have to be scared alone.
You know that you'll never go anywhere or leave. But what if there is a good reason?
We won't leave without talking to you first, without all of us being okay with it. Promise?
Yeah.
We'll spit in her hands.
Mira will not even make a face, spit in her hand too.
Yeah, all right.
It's okay to feel what you feel. Grief isn't linear or logical. Fear isn't logical. But it doesn't make it less strong.
What makes it so hard is that I'd already let go, you know. And then when I was alone, I'd see a bird and be like, oh, Fig would have loved that bird. Or you know, I'd look at the moons and remember looking at the same ones with Fig. I don't know. I know Ren told me that she's at the farm, and I think I need to say goodbye. Try to get some more closure. It's just it's hard to let go again.
We'll be there with you. And we can talk if that helps, or we can just be there.
That's it for me, I guess.
Oh, that's all?
That's it. I promise.
I can't promise that. Things are going to come up. And it's okay.
Yeah. Halen, huh?
I guess. Where are they?
They went to go get some people that they know to help the barge, I think. That's what Ren told me this morning. Ren went to get us breakfast.
Yes.
Okay. I hope they don't get themselves into trouble again, but I guess we'll find out.
It seems like they're a magnet for trouble.
I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, technically we are too, maybe?
Nope.
Things have been fine.
Yep. Totally.
Illusions much. Anyway, does anyone wish to do anything of note while you all wait for breakfast? Ren comes back a short time later. Doesn't take her too long to find Hearth and Home and to have acquired some fresh pastries from Mrs. Withersby. She comes back. There is a distinct, like, particularly for Violet, would recognize this. Ren just seems happier than when she left. You only can attribute that to, Mrs. Withersby, because Mrs. Withersby is amazing like that. But yeah, you all have a fresh set of pastries, and you sit and wait. And wait.
How long do we wait?
I was up at dawn and they left before I was up.
Is this, time to send another love moth? When do we use that? Is that emergencies only?
Well, I was going to have them write their name in my book, but they snuck off before that happened, so fucking...
They did say, Ren speaks up, they did say that they would be back, sometime still in the morning, so we should at least give them a bit. Unless you don't think that, well, you know them better than I do. I can send Lyra searching if that's what you want.
If they said that they'd be back in the morning, I guess we can wait. I'm gonna murder them.
Ren just watches Mira for a few seconds. Obviously, you can tell that they're kind of sizing something up in their mind. But you only have to wait a little bit longer. Because as the twin suns reach their zenith, you all hear commotion coming from upriver. Those of you above deck, or those of you that move above deck, you can see there's always boats coming to and fro. So at first, you're not really put off by anything. You're not really alerted to anything of note until you see Phelan at the head of a barge. There's a number of individuals on the barge with them, moving about, handling the ship itself. A fairly motley crew that starts drifting towards your ship purposefully. They wrestle in next to the barge, and you can see fairly obviously, it becomes clear very quickly that Phelan has called in favors and probably spent a healthy sum of coin as well to bring these individuals to you. The crew, appearing to be seasoned sailors, perhaps maybe pirates, given some of them having a bit of a rough demeanor, they immediately set to work. There's a little bit of interaction, of course, between you and Phelan, you all and the crew. Lots of pleasantries. The crew that comes aboard seems very chipper. They seem very ready to work. They seem well motivated. And they immediately begin to free Violet's father's derelict barge from its resting place. Using their functional river barge, you can see that they begin tethering it to the derelict ship. And as they're doing all of this, they set about to putting some very heavy leather bellows filled with air to add a little bit of buoyancy to your ship, or to Vi's ship anyway. And it takes a fairly considerable amount of effort to get everything lashed together. But shortly after, you maybe only an hour or so into their arrival, you can see that another group comes towards you from the land side, moving towards the river's edge. A team of very large oxen-like creatures that you know to be referred to as Chanine begin heading your direction. Massive, probably 12 feet tall from hoof to horn, and easily thousands of pounds each. The crew handling them begins throwing lines to your paired barges, and these mighty beasts begin pulling both boats along, while the crew uses long river poles to kind of guide the advance upriver. Thankfully, the bladders that were attached to your barge do an ample enough job. You're not tossed around too much. And then you realize that despite the inherent difficulty of all of this, today seems rather blessed. The river's waters are unusually calm, actually. Smooth enough that you can almost see your clear reflection in its surface. A very significant rarity in the world. Several of the crew mutter prayers to various ascendant, thankful for the serene conditions. And you set sail, as it were, heading north along the river. Going upstream is, of course, difficult. The Chanine, the crew, they seem to know their task well. And you can tell pretty clearly that there is a kind of camaraderie between many of them and Phelan, as if Phelan knows them personally and rather well. Phelan kind of dodges any questions from you all about this particular crew, just simply leaving it as they're here to help. And the work continues throughout the day, and then even into the night. You knew from earlier that the crew had been operating in shifts. You had thought originally just so that they could, maintain their progress while still being strong. But as the three moons rise and cast their light over the river, you see at the river's edge a new team of Chanine in the direction that you are headed. This one on the other side of the river, as you need to bank on that side to reach the farm. There is a brief pause while the barges are basically drug across the river and reach the other side and teamed up to the new Chanine. But the cloudless night sky allows the moon's light to guide these efforts seamlessly. And there is a kind of serenity as they cast their moonlit glow over the river and reflect beautifully across its currents and across yourselves, each other, the barges. Those of you that stay awake or wake up in the night at any point, you are, of course, very much able to take a long rest should you wish, which is highly recommended. But the work keeps going apace, and with the break of dawn, as the two suns rising once more, both ships are pulled to shore. Waiting on the riverbank ahead, you see a new crew of artisans this time, armed with tools and, of course, their skill and might. You can see that they have been preparing, probably throughout the day, to begin the process of dismantling your derelict barge. As the barges are pulled to the shore, there's a lot of commotion, of course, from the crews kind of handing off. Phelan spends more than a few minutes thanking his team of friends, You notice that there's some papers exchanged from Phelan to a couple of them, a couple of small coin purses as well. And there's a lot of fairly, not teary-eyed, but sensitive goodbyes that happen between them. And Phelan offers a considerable amount of thanks. And as that happens and the barge begins to float away, you can see the other crew immediately setting upon Violet's barge.
Can I talk to Phelan really quickly?
Sure.
80 will just kind of go over as the other barge leaves and just say, hey, could you just tell the crew to, like, be, like, reverent, respectful, taking this apart? It's kind of, you know, I know it's work and you have to do what you have to do, but, like, you know.
They know. I've got it handled. They are well aware of what's happening here. Matter of fact, and they kind of point over to one of them. That one there is going to set up a, we like to call them river graves. But there's going to be a permanent marker here now, indicating what's left of this ship off on the side, and it's going to serve as a river guide to everyone that comes here in the future. Everyone that moves along this river is going to know that something important happened there.
Good. Thanks.
Yeah. You all right?
Yeah.
Okay. Got it handled.
I know. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, I should say I've got most of it handled. Looks over at Bren. Hey, big man. You might want to...
Don't do that. Don't do that. Yes, Phelan. How can I help you?
Well, I'm not going to call you Bear Daddy, so...
It would have been better than what you just said.
What's wrong with me?
It just felt really off when you said, what do you need?
We need that wagon.
Oh, right. Gotcha. Are we by the farm?
So you're not too far off from the farm. You're maybe 2 hours walk from the farm.
Okay.
That was the point of taking the barge upriver, is because it handled the vast majority of hauling things, up. It's going to take probably a better part of the day to get everything dismantled here, so maybe go and take care of that part of things if you don't mind.
Yeah, I can go.
You all don't have to
Kinda
stay,
looks
by the
around.
way. If you all have things to do, this is going to be rather tedious work. And Phelan kind of looks over at Violet. You may not want to stay for this.
Thanks for doing this, Phelan.
Just doing what I promised. They cast a glance at Mira. A smile upon their face. I didn't need that much gold going where we're going anyway, right?
Nope. All right. Well, he kind of just starts walking towards the direction of his farm.
Violet, do you want to stick around here?
No, I'm gonna go to the farm.
If you've got any personal effects, anything below deck, you might want to get them now, just in case they accidentally end up in the river.
Yeah, and she'll run and see if Bandit's on the ship.
Oh, God.
You find Bandit in a little perch kind of hiding at all of the cacophony of noise that has begun.
I'll scoop him up and take him with me.
All right, come on. If any of you are coming, let's go.
Yeah, we can all go.
Hey, Violet, can I borrow your sending stone?
Yeah. Like mine? Like
Yeah.
you have the other one still. Yeah, sure. Hand it over.
I'll toss it over to Phelan.
Catches it. All right. It's only once, though, right?
Once a day, yeah.
Okay.
If something happens or plans change or you decide to go somewhere without
go somewhere
telling people.
I told, and he looks over at Ren. Ren just kind of. I told her. What do you...
Let me know if
you were
something
asleep.
Changes.
You were asleep. I didn't want to wake you.
That is a temporary state of being.
All right.
Have fun.
You too. They just turn back towards the ship as Violet emerges from the bowels of the ship, rat in hand. Oriana actually comes over to Sisk and just says, I think I'm gonna hang out here till you guys, come back. I'm really interested in, what they're doing and stuff. Is that okay?
Oh, that's probably, yeah, absolutely. You'll be okay, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
we can take care of them.
Sure.
Okay, we'll be back soon-ish, hopefully. Thanks for hanging around, Oriana. It's been good.
I'm glad to. It's fun.
It's one word for it.
You see them head over and start inspecting all of the various tools that are laid out on a temporary table that was set up, and just oohing and eyeing over some of the various implements. Ren comes over to you, Violet, and taps you on the shoulder and says, "I'm out. I'll be around here, but I'm just gonna make sure things are safe." Okay.
Yeah. Keep an eye out for Lyra.
Yeah. Do you want me to send Lyra with you so I know if anything goes wonky or?
I think we'll be okay.
All right. They just head off. So the five of you head off in the direction of the farm. 80, with your emotion sense as well as your passive perception, are able to tell that Phelan was not only a little bit annoyed at all of that, but they're watching all of you go and seem very frustrated as you all depart. But they get to work with the crew of artisans, taking out the sections of the ship that need to be salvaged, starting to note where things are going to get laid out on the side of the river while the ship is being dismantled, as you all head towards the farm. You arrive at said farm without difficulty. Or actually, I should say, Bren, are you going to the farm first, or are you going to one of the other farmsteads nearby to ask to borrow the wagon? Because you don't...
No, the wagon's it's at my house.
Oh, you have... But you don't have the... what did you not have? The beast of burden or something? You were going to have... Something was going to have to... I remember something was going to have to be borrowed from friends.
It was the beast of burden. Yeah. Okay. So I have the wagon. And the idea was for me to be the beast of burden for part of it. That's what I had offered. And then Phelan was like, nah, I got some people. So that was my thought.
You're going to need more than yourself to haul things up the mountain. So
I got this. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'll
80,
stop
80
off
can
my,
ride the wagon, but I don't think 80 can push the wagon.
+1 to my
She's
strength.
got
Are you
those
kidding?
thunder thighs. Come on.
Wow.
Sure do.
Yeah, because we have to pass a couple of the homesteads anyway before we get to my farm particularly, so I'll stop and look in on a friend.
Okay. You check in with a couple of the farmsteads and are relatively easily able to acquire a couple of rams. Very heavy.
Dodge Rams.
Sure. A couple of heavy-duty laborers that are used in these parts, particularly for anyone that has to go in the direction north where the land gets more rocky and tumultuous. There's some questions about things like how long are you going to be gone and that sort of thing, because nosy neighbors and such, you end up having to kind of spill the beans that you're just taking a trip and are hauling some stuff around and that sort of thing. But, of course, everyone are friends here, and everyone kind of looks out for each other. So there's no questions about returning the beasts. It's actually mentioned that, hell, they'd probably find their own way home if they had to anyway. But you're able to retrieve the beasts and head off in the direction of your farm. As you arrive, you all can see Violet for the first time is able to notice that there is a rather large section in the corner of the main house of the farmstead that is somewhat caved in. And the place very much looks like it could use some tender love and care. I think Sisk eyes several things and gets rather annoyed at the state of disrepair, perhaps. But, yeah, the farm is in front of all of you.
I'm going to go tie these bad boys down, kind of get them relaxed until we need them. You all know the lay of the land. I don't have to explain it to you, but I think it'd be nice if we took our friend to see their friend. All right, well, I'll meet you guys over there. And he kind of goes to go tie down
The Rams kind of settle themselves. They're used to farm life, so being in a new place doesn't bother them overly much. The rest of you kind of stand there. How's Violet doing at this point?
It's really anxious. Sad. Notices the state of the farm, clocks Bren for not talking about his feelings and breaking his house again. We'll probably talk to Bren about that later. But just nervous.
I mean, we don't have to go over there right away unless you're feeling ready.
No, I think we should.
Okay. And 80 will reach out to grab your hand and start leading you over.
Mira was going to grab the other hand.
Do you have to do everything I do?
Listen, I was going to do it first, okay?
She grips both of your hands very tightly.
Sisk is gonna hang back a little bit by one of the doors. Violet, would you like me to be there? I can also kind of give you some space.
Sure, you could come.
Okay.
As you head towards the back of the farm, Violet, you can immediately see a very large bed of violet-covered flowers. This wasn't here the last time that you visited the farm. And in this bright daylight, because now it's probably around noon-ish, in this bright daylight hour, the crystalline flower at its center is vibrant, luminescent, and immediately catches everyone's attention. There's a noticeable lack of disturbing of the grounds in the area by animals. Farms very frequently, particularly a wild one such as this, very frequently are havens for small burrowing creatures. The almirage that make up a good chunk of the tiny animals that are on the farm, they're known to cause a little bit of damage. But it seems as though pretty much all of them have left this particular patch of ground alone. And each step that you get closer, Violet can feel everything about what transpired. How does she react?
Just quiet, but I assume 80 gets a sense of just deep sadness, sorrow. But she tries her best not to show it. She'll walk around a bit and let go of your hands, and I think she'll just start picking some of the violets until she has a good handful, and I think she'll just silently start to tie it into tie the stems into like a little crown. Only when she has it in a circle, she'll, if it'll fit, place it around the crystal flower. So it's just encircling it at the base.
As you do that, the light of the crystal changes hue somewhat to be more reflective of the flowers that now encircle it. Whereas previously there had been a distinct space on the ground, it's now filled, and that seems to affect colors coming out of the crystal.
Beautiful. Let's do all this.
Did it for you.
My favorite thing about Fig was he always knew what to do. You know? I don't know if you noticed, but I'm not really great at making decisions. I'm not really great at making plans. You point me in a direction and I'll go there, but She really led my life for a while and helped me a lot. She's strong, funny. She was like, if I was smoke and shadows, she was smoke and twilight. She shone so bright. Her, you know how we do the whole nickname thing. It was her idea. She, my nickname was Six because I was always behind her, always had her back. And she'll kill me for telling you this, but we called her Pig because it rhymed with big, and truffle pigs lead the pack. They can sniff out all the good stuff. She was always leading us around to the good scores, and I'm really gonna miss her. I'd already missed her for so long, and it's just hard to miss her again.
How did you and Fig meet in the first place?
She worked at my parents' restaurant. We grew up together. Yeah. Then when my parents left, my mom died, and then my parents left, she was only about a year or two older than me, but she really took care of me. It was hard when she was gone the first time.
I didn't know her, but I can feel how much you love her. And I imagine she felt it too.
Also, it's been so long thinking she did it. I just wish I knew she was. I wish I knew that she didn't leave, and then I could have saved her, and she was here the whole time. So bad.
How could you have known? You did what you had to get through it, and thought what you had to. You thought you had been abandoned, it sounds like, and after having faced that a few times already, it would have made sense, I would think. It's just unfortunate. It's tragic.
this fucking place. It's the system. It's the clergy. It's... I know we want to run away from it. I know that that's the plan, but I don't know how I feel about leaving other people to the same fate. What happened to Phelan? What happened to Mira? What happened to Fig? Like, does it feel right?
I'm gonna show my palm to Violet, and there's a little scar where I cut my hand when we buried Fig. I made a promise to do everything that I can to not let this happen to anyone else. And I don't know what that looks like yet. I don't know. Maybe we leave and come back with an army. I don't know. But I don't think any of us wants to abandon this place without making a difference.
I just don't know how to do it. I don't know how we do it without hurting other people too.
I think we take it one step at a time. You figure out what the next step is and do that. And then figure out the next step and the next.
We can come up with plans. We can come up with so many plans later, but I think right now it's just about Fig and about you, Violet.
I think I'm gonna just stay here for a little bit longer. You guys are welcome to stay or do whatever you need to do, but I'm just gonna sit here for a bit.
Adie will go and sit next to you.
Mira will go over and lean down and just kiss the top of Violet's head. I'm gonna check if Bren needs any help, but I'll be around.
I'll do a reassuring pat and slip into the house.
What's Bren been doing during all of this?
After you put up the ramps, he went inside and he's in his chair, kind of like looking at the hole in the wall, which surprisingly we can also kind of see everyone else when they were out talking too. So he's kind of looking at everybody through the hole that he created, but he's in his chair. Yeah.
Mira and Sisk come back inside and see Bren chilling in the chair.
Yeah, chilling, kind of. It's more so he's just kind of like sitting there menacingly.
Anyone
He's
wanna
not
play,
relaxed or anything.
Anyone want to play a round of cards, or we could get started patching a couple of these unsightly holes.
Yeah, it would probably be best to kind of fix it up a little bit. How's Violet doing?
As good as she can be, I think. I don't know.
Okay. It's best we give her as much time as she needs. And then he kind of just sits back in his chair. It's a mix between like he's tired, there's a little frustration in there. The embarrassment of the destruction of his home is kind of settling up. He just kind of looks defeated in the moment. He's just kind of sitting there. We'll give it a little bit. Once everybody kind of recoups or refocuses, we'll start to get the wagon and the rams over to Phelan. It's gonna be a bit, and we want to do it before it gets dark. But if you guys want to do something, you have at it.
I'm gonna reach out a hand to Bren for his hand, and if he clasps mine, I'm gonna clasp my other hand around it. So I'm holding his hand, and I'm gonna look in his eyes, and just take a couple minutes for yourself too, okay? And if he was gonna get up or anything, I push him back down into the seat, and I'm gonna start cleaning up and getting the patching stuff ready to go.
Yeah. He kind of scoots back in the chair. He's just like, ooh, all right. Yeah. It's a lot of people Phelan brought. Do you know anything about that?
Nope.
Yeah. I kind of figured maybe something to talk about. More things to learn.
You know, it's too bad that we have to cart everything up a mountain, or I'd suggest taking your chair with.
Yeah, that would. This one doesn't break on my bare butt. It would be nice. May build another one. It could be fun.
Did you built this one?
I did. Well, I helped build it. My dad really built it, but I helped. I'm gonna. Yes.
This is maybe a crazy idea, but do you remember when we first went up the mountain and my magic changed and there was that like floating disc?
Oh, yes.
Put your chair on the disc and just magic it up the mountain.
That's a really good idea. You know,
listen, you're happier when you're in your chair. So if there's a way to get it up the mountain, we could try.
Yeah, we could. And he kind of like just like a small little smile that he's trying to repress. He's like, I mean, if it doesn't like tire you out, or I don't know if you have to like focus a lot doing that.
I mean, I have to like recast it occasionally, but I don't know.
We could figure it out. We could try. Sure. They definitely like a little bit more like, okay, yeah, that's cool. if you all don't need anything from me, I'm gonna sit here for a little bit more, and I'm gonna rest my eyes for a bit.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Y'all just tap me, wake me up. I might regret that. Just wake me up if you need something. And then he leans his head back and he closes his eyes, and you kind of hear him just, and then within minutes he's like he's out.
Pop needs an afternoon nap. Sisk very quickly realizes that there is no amount of patching this damage. This is going to take days worth of work and resources to fix. It's also already been kind of weather beaten a little bit because it's been here for a hot second. So, yeah.
Can I just throw up some boards or something to keep
Sure. You
as
can,
many elements outside as possible?
You can do a makeshift kind of deal that'll last a little bit, but it's not going to hold
more than nothing.
things at bay for long. Like, maybe you'll get a couple months before that's been kind of dealt with, but I mean, ostensibly, Bren's leaving the farm behind anyway, so. So, 80 and Violet have anything more to do outside?
How are you doing, Edie?
I'm okay. It's been a long couple weeks. I'm doing better.
Yeah. How are you feeling?
Why do you have to do this and make me feel things?
I told you how I've been feeling all day. I need a break.
Yeah. Ugh. I don't. It's a lot of feelings. There's a lot. I feel like it was really great to talk to my parents, but also really fucking weird because, you know, they're clergy and I think they're good, but they're part of the whole system, and Mira is really angry about it, which I understand. I think I just have a harder time being angry at them, I guess. You should have seen, though, my mom was pissed when she found out that the Nostromo took Mira. Like,
That's
wow.
a surprise. So, everything you've told me about your parents, that's really surprising.
Yeah, I mean, it surprised me too. I don't know. I just want them to fix everything. I know that's so stupid and not possible, but they're the closest connection that I have to any of this, and I don't know. They just kept saying that it's more complicated than what we had been talking about, and of course that's true, but like, tell us how, you know? And tell us how we can fix things. And You're right, though. Leaving here, as wonderful as it sounds, it doesn't quite feel right at this point. And I don't know what to do about it. I don't know that any of us do, but I mean, Mira's right. We can just do the next thing.
I don't know what the answer is, but I'm glad that your parents are more supportive than expected.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of wish I had told them a lot sooner. I know. I mean, there was a reason for not saying things.
Really good reasons.
Yeah, and I don't know if I told them another time, if things would have been different. They would have reacted differently. I don't know.
Are you happy you told them? Are you relieved?
Yeah, really relieved. I wish that how am I so bad with words? It's all like here, but I feel like I can't figure it out. I feel like I lost time with them. Because, having a secret is doesn't make for great communication.
I feel like you couldn't be your authentic self.
Not exactly, no.
It's gotta be hard.
That's, I mean, every person that I tell, which is riskier and riskier, I think Mira might have an aneurysm the next person I tell, but I feel better. So I hope we can figure this out. It feels like a lot for a bunch of idiots to try to solve the problems of an entire continent and institution. But
like Mira said, one step at a time, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
You okay with the whole Mira and Phelan stuff?
Yeah. I mean, Phelan, despite what we might have talked about previously, Phelan's a good person, truly, and they're good for Mira, and I think Mira's good for them. I feel a little worried because it was hard last time, and I got myself into quite a bit of trouble. Mm-hmm. Not because of it, but they were related,
Yeah,
and I don't know how much trouble I can get myself into on an airship over the ocean, you know? So, we'll see.
Yeah. We'll have each other, right? Worked out last time.
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
Should we head back?
Yeah, I think we should see if we can fix all the holes in Bren's house. Oh, poor guy. It looks not great.
Did he do it himself?
Yeah. It was hard.
Yeah. He needs to talk about his feelings more.
Oh my god. Yeah. And he gives like the best advice, and it's really annoying, quite frankly, because, you know, it always comes with like a dose of truth that I don't think I want personally. But he certainly doesn't seem to want to talk about himself. Maybe we should tease him less. I think that might not help, you know?
I think he likes it.
Good, because I don't know if I could stop.
Let's go. And probably we'll extend her hand out to Lady this time.
She'll take it. We can head back.
As you guys head inside, you can see Sisk up on like a ladder trying to leverage some chunks of wood into one of the holes in the ceiling. I'm not sure what Mira's doing.
I think she made some tea. And is just like enjoying a quiet moment to herself.
And you see Bren passed out in his chair, snoring softly.
Just out.
So how are we going to wake him up?
Do we save that for another time?
No.
I mean,
Okay.
now's the perfect opportunity.
There's a lot of feelings, and, you know.
I think we all get in his face.
Okay.
I think Sisk shapeshifts into Tamra and then
Yes.
really gets into his face.
Yes. Better. I love it.
We might have the opposite effect than what you're asking for. This might be.
What about Mrs. Withersby? Just kidding. Can't we just like wake him up with a snack or something? You know? I don't know. Lead the charge. You guys.
I'll let you guys decide. He woke you guys up in the worst ways.
You all are very loud, and I can hear you. It's a small room. He tilts his head up and he's like, you guys got to do better. Really.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Lost her chance.
Opportunity missed. You all do anything else at the farm before you head back?
I know 80 will just take a piece of wood from wherever, the pile on the ground.
Yeah.
Just something little, and put it in her pack.
Okay. Ian, you seemed like you had something.
No, Bren's just gonna start like getting the wagon prepared, and he actually puts the 3 Almirage on the wagon too, and he's like, "They're coming with us." So,
No problem. Here.
You know that it's going to take quite some time still to, get the ship functioning again anyway. So this isn't the last opportunity that you're going to have at the farm. Just making sure that that's...
It's my emotional support on Mirage.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just making sure you knew that you weren't getting, cut off from Brent's farm or anything like that.
Oh,
So
no.
you,
We still got to get their food and stuff, Yeah?
Do you want to take your chair now? Do you want to save it for later?
No, we'll save it for when we are
Okay.
leaving. Yeah. And again, you don't really have to do that. It's fine. It's that really does seem like asking much.
The payoff, though, I think probably is worth it. Yes, it's a pain, but the amount that you will be nicer will make it worth it.
Nicer? I'm not nice. I looks at Sisk. I'm not nice.
I don't want to get into this.
Wait, you don't think I'm nice either? It looks at Violet. I'm not nice. 80. Well, this is news to me. I'm not looks at his home. I'm not
Anyway, it's
Maybe happier. Happier is the word that I meant. I chose.
I'm happy. I'm fine. What are you talking? I'm living the time of my life. I've seen more things in my short. I'm not nice. He just kind of keeps going on that.
Where's that beast of burden when you need him?
On that note,
Why is everyone looking at me now?
On that note, you get everything hooked up to the wagon and start heading off back in the direction of where the barges were being dismantled. It only takes, as I had said before, a couple of hours, so it is probably mid-afternoon, coming close to late afternoon by the time that you get there, and you can see that the crew has been very, very steadily at work. A good portion of the barge has already been dismantled, probably most of it, in fact. And there is a sizable heap of wood material off to the side that is arranged in such a way that implies to you that's the salvage. There are a lot of other fragments kind of moved off to the other side of their little mini encampment that they have. Oh, hey, Exiled Trojan Ranga is gifted 10 subs to the community. Thank you so much. Trojan? That's Trojan Ranga. Thank you so much. We very much appreciate that. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Yes, the pile of materials off to one side that is very noticeably not going to be salvaged. You can see that there's a couple of individuals that are already sifting through and moving it around and arranging it with seeming care, I'll say. Through all of this, you can see Phelan in the midst of it, doing a hefty amount of work themselves at this point. So, later in the afternoon and such, they are hard at work with much of the rest of this crew of artisans that they have gathered. As you begin to approach, it is pointed out your arrival, and Phelan stops, wiping the sweat off their brow, and starts heading in your direction as you approach. They walk out to you. You can see that they are assessing the wagon and the rams, and look at all of you and just kind of nod a bit, and you hear them say, "Yeah, this should do pretty well. I assume no troubles or anything getting it all here, and anything we need to be worried about."
No. No troubles at all. It's pretty smooth.
Great. We still
Is,
probably
can I tell, is Phelan still kind of annoyed? Like when we left?
no. At this point, you can tell that they're pretty tired. In fact, like they've been working pretty hard most of the day, so there's a little bit of exhaustion that's kind of creeping into them. Yeah, it's most all you're getting at this point. Great. Well, we've got. It's probably going to be close to nightfall before we get the salvage done. I think we're going to end up having to camp here and then set out in the morning. Unless anyone has any complaints or other business to deal with.
What can we do to help?
Just about to ask if you'd like to help. So right now, the biggest thing that we can help with is managing some of the materia, getting it shifted around and ready. We don't want to load it up on the wagon just yet. That should be kind of the last thing that we do. We don't want to burden things too much there. I can then task one of the other folk to deal with setting up the river monument. Sound good? All right.
Yeah.
Well, come on in and join the fun. And they lead you all into the new encampment, this work site that has been set up. You all assist in whatever way you feel you can. There's still quite a lot of work to be done in regards to pulling things off of the barge. There's still a decent amount of usable wood and materia that can come from it. And yeah, how do you think each of you assist?
80 is not afraid to get her hands dirty, so she'll probably start hauling things off with everybody else.
You very quickly are paired up with one of the other artisans who's mainly responsible for prying sections of usable wood away and hacking off the parts that are obviously rotten and such. Given 80's experience in lots of different occupations, we'll say, she pretty handily gets a feel for it without too much time.
Mira checks in with Oriana and just asks about what she's been doing all day and then pitches in with whatever she's working on.
She has seemingly been just occupying herself with organizational stuff, mainly ferrying what any of the craft people might need, whichever tools. She's fascinated. She goes into a very long diatribe on the differences between some of the various tools that are there that she has just learned about and such. And so that it almost feels mundane, but to her, because of her exuberance with it, she's very like, it's almost catchy, like the level of exuberance that she has for it. And there's quite a lot of organization that needs to happen with, what is most important versus what's least important in regards to what goes on the bottom of the wagon, what goes on the top, and they're like using chalk on the various chunks of wood to mark things and such. So you can absolutely help with all of that. For what it's worth, Phelan noticeably keeps their distance from Mira. Not sure if it's because there's just a lot of work to be done. Hey, Stronghold D&D, thank you for the raid. Welcome in, raiders. Also, I think I saw Darling Creepshow in there. Welcome, Darling Creepshow. Happy you're here. You notice that Phelan is kind of keeping their distance, but it's hard to tell if it's just because of intentional or just because of what's going on, and they're doing a considerable amount of work, particularly oversight, making sure that people know what they need to be doing and that sort of thing. So What about Sisk?
Yeah, so Sisk is going to, not feeling like doing more heavy labor today. So they are going to be using some of their bardic abilities. They're going to be singing. They have some pan flutes. They're going to like be a little bit of a show, try to encourage the people, inspire the people. Also, like during, if people are taking rests, or taking a lunch break or something, they have a little performing puppet, little puppet show. They have like little violin rings so they can be playing music and doing the shit at the same time. Everyone feels a little bit more rejuvenated, after having a big good laugh. So hopefully bring the morale up, because they've already had quite a long day already.
Yeah.
So
no, absolutely, that's awesome. The morale definitely improves, I will say. And more than a few there's more than a few instances of everybody needs to take a laugh break for a moment as the entertainment proceeds. So it definitely has an impact on the work site. Bren?
I think Bren would have gotten into what 80 was getting into too, just helping with breaking anything down, sorting through like good materials and bad materials. Just trying to pop in, give a set of extra hands where it's needed.
Right? Yeah, it's certainly needed and well appreciated as Bren settles into that. I think for Bren, one of the things that kind of maybe surprises him a little bit is just how much functional wood is actually coming off of the barge, considering what it looked like previously. And seeing the amount that you guys are getting out of it. Also, he probably notices more than the others that there is a very distinct color difference between this particular kind of wood and the wood that was used on the airship, which kind of leans into what Phelan had been saying before about how it's going to be noticeable, the patch. So, Andrew, what's Violet up to for this? How does she react, first of all, seeing the majority of the ship kind of in pieces as well?
I think Violet's just processing a lot. And so she's just going to ask Phelan to point her in a direction, and she'll just kind of mindlessly do whatever they need her to do. And just kind of be quiet and process the day.
Okay. Yeah, Phelan kind of guides Violet over to a section of the ship that they had been working on and gets her to assist them with some of the dismantling there. Go ahead and give an insight check, please.
It's a natural 20. 23.
Okay. You are at first thinking that Phelan maybe is just being too careful because Violet is there right next to them. But after a few moments, you can tell that Phelan has a very gentle approach to this dismantling process. They're being very meticulous and methodical about their work, and you see them using their hands at several places, just kind of feeling the grain of the wood that they are working with, trying to ascertain the best place to place a tool, or to put the right amount of leverage in without breaking or tearing or damaging in some way what they're working with. And it becomes very obvious very quickly that they are using a lot of care in what they're doing. And at several points, they actually kind of catch Violet and, they don't reprimand, but they catch Violet and tell her to no, don't place there, you're going to damage it more, or, you need to be a little more gentle, or, that sort of thing with the process.
you feeling? I know I've been giving you a pretty hard time.
I'm sorry, what was that?
I know I've been giving you a hard time. And I just want to say thank you for everything you're doing. I don't know how this could have happened without you. And
I mean, I'm knowing Mira as I do, I am 1000% certain that she would have found a way. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm saying is I appreciate you taking on this part, at least. I don't think I could do it by myself, or I appreciate you just taking ownership over this so I don't have to. This was my home, you know?
Not an easy thing. No one should expect you to have to do something like this, particularly yourself. I mean, that's why you have companions, right? Why you have friends?
Yeah.
Also, this is kind of in my wheelhouse. I mean, I've had to fix a couple of ships in my sordid past, and feels good to dust off that skill set once again.
We're lucky to have you around, you know? And I'm sorry for being a bit more, or just being cold, I guess.
Well, the dead fish was a bit of a message, I'll say.
Yeah. Thomas is still there. Don't fuck around.
Right. All right.
You two okay?
Maybe. I honestly... This is one of the things that I absolutely detest and love about her. She is so hard to read sometimes. Most of the time. Pretty much all the time. Yeah. She's an enigma.
It's funny, I've heard stories of Mira before I actually met Mira, and
Oh, do tell. We've got a lot of work to do, so I'm more than happy to hear about stories of Mira.
I'll just say I got 80s perspective of Mira, and then I got to get my own, and it's different.
You know, that's interesting, because every single time I tried to get 80s perspective of Mira, I was told that that was not something that we could talk about.
What do you mean?
80 and I used to work together. You didn't know that?
Oh, a joke and mirth?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow. No, I didn't know that. Did I know that? I don't know.
It was during and post relationship with Mira, and it was very complicated. Yeah, complicated.
Yeah.
By the way, your aunt is very fierce.
Cool. Yep.
She came back earlier in the day and then left again. I think we have dinner for tonight. It's mentioned something about a roast.
Oh.
I don't know.
She's great.
You all right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Like you
You know,
said, I
it's-
got really, really good friends.
You know it's okay to not be all right, yeah?
Yeah. I think I am.
Okay. There can be a certain catharsis to something like this. So, hopefully it helps in that way at the very least.
Yeah, earlier today was harder to let go, and this is making it a lot easier.
Good. Glad I could help in some small way, I guess.
Yeah, I'll get back to it.
And you all set back to work. The work is difficult, to say the least, but you all manage to spend, particularly with all of your arrivals and assistance with things, it adds a little bit of extra effort and expedience to the process. The dismantling of the barge is done just before sun's set, in fact. And there's a sense of relief that kind of washes over everyone as it comes to a conclusion. The fragments of what's remaining are arranged on the side of the river. You can see that there's one particular individual, one craftsman among the crew, that seems to have taken it upon themselves to spend a great deal of their effort in arranging all of the various fragments in a pattern of some kind. And I would like for each of you to roll a perception check, please.
Can I just use my passive?
Yeah.
Okay. Safer.
Dirty 20.
Nice.
I'm also going to use my passive.
I got 15.
I used an advantage, and I got 22.
Nice.
21.
And what's your passive, Ian?
15.
Okay. The twins and Violet are able to kind of figure it out before Sisk and Bren, but eventually you guys are able to figure it out as well. All of the various wood fragments are arranged in what appears at first glance to just be a random chaotic pile of jagged wood and chunks of metal and such debris that came from the barge. But as you kind of take a step back and look at it from the side, you start to consider what it might look like from the river. And as you picture that in your mind, it starts becoming clear that all of it is arranged in a very large flower-like shape. Some kind of a rose, perhaps? A blooming, blossoming rose, you think. And as it's arranged like that, there's a certain amount of kind of calm that washes over the campsite, the work site, rather. And the various artisans, very proud of everything that they have done today, begin to just relax a bit. A very long, heavy day's work done. A half a dozen of them that there are immediately set into a few casks of wine and ale that were apparently brought with them. Phelan, of course, seems to imply over the course of the evening that they might have come from Jolkin Mirth's private stores, and there may have been payment, maybe not. Ren returned much earlier than sunset and immediately began setting about creating a large spit and roast for the boar that they had caught and retrieved. And there's a roast boar being prepared over the many hours that you have. or that she has to prepare things. You settle into an evening of seemingly festivity. A few very large tents are erected to let people sleep, and it all turns into kind of a joyous affair. At least that's the intent. How do each of you take the circumstance of the decent food, good revelry, and better than decent wine and ale?
Cautiously. I think 80 is glad for some levity, and to spend time with her friends and everyone who worked so hard today. But I think that she's been watching Violet all day to make sure that she's doing okay, to make sure that we're not like breaking her heart by taking apart her home. And I think that I feel like she's waiting for Violet to have a bit of a breakdown. She doesn't want it to happen, but she knows that it's possible. So yeah, she's trying to just enjoy it, but there's that in the back of her mind too.
Yeah, makes sense, I guess. Why is it chat seems to think that I'm about to like murder all of you or something? Anyway, how's Sisk doing with all of it?
I mean, this is not Sisk's home. There is not, this is, they're doing all right by all accounts. Also, trying to be very aware about Violet. Yeah, no, I'm partying a little bit. I'm having fun. I want to these weird pirates and folks. I want to figure out how they know Phelan, see if they're tight-lipped. So I'm like,
well, these are the artisans. These are the engineers and people. Yeah, the sailors and pirates already fucked off. So.
Perfect. Yeah, how did Phelan know these people too? Or they just did they come into the Jokenworth often, or So.
All right, give me a persuasion check.
Ooh, okay.
See what kind of effort you get for carousing.
I hope. So 22.
22, yeah. You are very easily, especially considering how inebriated several of these very hardworking individuals get very quickly. It takes zero effort at all for you to learn the various ways that Phelan knows each of them. And it seems like you basically piece together that over the course of probably the past decade, maybe a few years more than a decade, Phelan has worked with each of these individuals at various jobs. Phelan
has a lot of jobs, is what I'm hearing. Are they getting fired, or are they just bored?
I don't know. Ask 80, because they're kind of kindred spirits in that regard.
I'll try to also find out, like, if they played cards with Phelan, what their tells are. Take them for what they're worth. Maybe we'll see.
Nice.
We're gonna have a lot of time on the ship.
So one of them is certainly an avid card player. He's that kind of annoying guy that like knows everything about like card theory and odds and numbers and all of that kind of thing. So you don't learn anything at all about like Phelan play, but you learn a lot about this guy play, and you are 100% certain that you could take easy advantage of that person.
Amazing. It's good.
Oh, I would love to play. Just call me in whenever.
Yeah. That's the plan.
What about Bren?
Bren's he's kind of just hanging out. He's not really getting too much into the party, but he's not being awkward or distant. He's just kind of there. Just one of those like, okay. Just really not interacting. He's just kind of vibing, watching everybody. Yeah.
Being the wallflower.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Okay. And Mira?
Is Phelan still avoiding me?
No.
I think
Not actively avoiding Mira, but
I'll pour 2 cups of wine and bring them over to Phelan.
You can see very clearly that Phelan is paying extra effort to be, in with the camaraderie of these people as kind of a show of thanks to all of them for what they've done. Another thing I think, Sisk, that you pick up on is that most of these people seemed to value their friendship, perhaps, with Phelan more than the crew, the shipping people, whereas those people were kind of paid to do what they were doing. Several of these individuals were probably doing this just because they're friends with Phelan.
Personal favor rather than...
Right. Yeah. So there's a lot of... I highlight that because there's a lot of personal connection that Phelan seems to have with these individuals. And so, Mira, you were able to pick up on that they were just busy, and now they're trying to thank people that they don't know when they're going to get a chance to see again. And when you bring the wine over, they kind of brush themselves off a little bit, just be like, whatever, I'm sweaty, and just wrap Mira up in a hug and take the wine. And they put back half of the wine very quickly. So
good day.
Yeah, I think so. It's work can motivate. So
yeah. Well, don't let me stop you from mingling.
I mean, you could join us, and they just kind of turn back to a couple of their other friends and take your hand and just kind of drag you over to them, and they take a seat. You sit. I'm assuming you don't resist all of that.
Nope.
You sit, and you can see them kind of interacting, and there's a part of this that feels familiar to you. Many of the places that you and Phelan went when you were a couple, Phelan was often greeted warmly in various places as if they were known, and you start feeling a lot of that here, as if they're a well-known individual, and these are probably some of the closest friends that they have that you know about. It's what you pick up on pretty quickly. There's a few side-eye glances kind of in your direction, as if maybe they know you or of you, and there's that kind of awkward, wait a minute, are these two back together again? I thought that was called off sort of thing, but nobody talks about it. Nobody outright says anything, and certainly no one is discourteous or anything like that to Mira at all. You're just kind of welcomed in with the crew, and there's toasts and laughter and jokes and stories and the like.
I probably start to challenge one of them to a drinking contest.
Phelan puts a stop to that pretty quickly.
Yep.
Even Bren from across the party sees that and goes, yeah. No, that gets shut down pretty quickly in an attempted jovial fashion, but yeah, that doesn't happen. What about Violet?
I think Violet is just enjoying being around so many people that are enjoying themselves. I think they're just sitting quietly and eating and drinking and just staring into a fire or something and just being. Yeah, I think that's what Violet's doing.
Awesome. As the evening progresses, people start turning in from the long day of work. There's the tents that are set up are mostly pavilion tents, so no one is really going to be sleeping privately unless you set up your own or arrangement or go off and sleep in the wild, which of course Ren does, clearly. But everything kind of just settles down, and the night sky above, the gentle movement of the river water lapping against the bank, it all sets about this like calm serenity after a very long day of strenuous activity and work. You each turn in at various points. I'm assuming that there isn't anything special anyone would like to do. I'll give you that opportunity now before we're about to wrap up. All right. You settle in for your evening. Sleep finds you each in turn at various times and places, but it does come nonetheless. As much as you might not have worked quite as robustly as many of the artisans did, you still find yourselves exhausted and tired from the work that you put in and the length of the day in particular, coupled with the long journey of the previous day. Your dreams find you as usual. Nothing untoward happens. Bren, however, you wake up in the middle of the night. You're not sure why, you just kind of startle yourself awake. Maybe perhaps you need to go and relieve yourself. You step out of the pavilion tent and start walking along the riverbank, just to get some air at the very least. And you glance up into the sky. You stare at the moons and the many stars above, looking and seemingly searching for something, though you're not quite sure. And then you see it. A single star moving quickly across the sky. It shoots from one side to the other, brilliantly and vibrantly, a white, bluish gleam to it that goes so fast that you blink and you're almost not sure you had actually seen it. You blink several times. And then you feel a presence around you. Familiar feeling, a sensation of someone close by, wanting to tap into your mind, wanting to tell you something urgently, wanting to speak, but not speak. It's that same sensation that you had when you entered the forest not too long ago. When you had first met this motley crew of young women that were on a quest to the mountains. And you headed in. And there was a presence there that you had felt. And then that presence took form. It was after you had dealt with the threats that had almost taken down Mira. And everything was vibrant, and you had felt maybe this was a mistake leading them into the Siltwood. Maybe this was all not what you should have done, and you had gone off to the side, and then you met them. You met Star. And there's an urgency to this feeling, as if Star is trying to reach you. And you look around and you don't see them anywhere. And you glance in the direction of the Siltwood to the north. And you are feeling as though you need to be pulled in that direction. There's a tether now. Something is going on, and you're not sure what. And then you startle awake in the tent, covered in sweat, unsure of what just happened. You remember every detail of it. But more than that, you can feel the pull. Star into the silver. And that's where we're going to call it tonight, ladies and gentlemen.